Right then, welcome back to the channel. Listen, it obviously didn't get any better overnight, did it? But we might have learned some shit. So let's have a look. Did we learn anything? And let me know at the end of the video. Do you agree with what I'm seeing, or am I delulu? And whatever, let me know in the comments, innit? Right. Number one. Death by 1,000 shots. The loss did feel inevitable in the end, the way we were set up and the way there was chances coming. And it's the hope that kills in it, because it started flawless. Contrast it to the FA Cup final, where after 25 seconds we might as well have gone home. At half-time we were winning. And you know, the worst part about playing City is how torturous and hopeless they are capable of making losses feel. They absolutely suffocate you, and they create so much. It was 3-1 makes it seem a lot closer of a contest than it was. You know, we're just dying for the day that United are actually genuinely competing with Manchester City again, genuinely capable of going toe-to-toe, genuinely capable of turning up at the Etihad and going, right, we're fucking having it, or what? Number two, Garnacho. And I don't want to single out any individual. If I was going to single out an individual, it'd probably be Onana on the basis of that. I thought it was a real comfortable game from him, and you know, he had some big saves that he had to make. I don't think he could have done much about any of the goals. It wasn't at fault for any of the goals. His distribution was good. He basically gets a pre-assist for the opening goal. You know, that's something that I saw in him, being able to hit them balls like that. We see Ederson do it. Saw that in his game and went, oh, I said at the start of the season, I think he'll get an assist this year. Hasn't come yet. But, you know, he did create the chance for Bruno to sort of set it back for Marcus to bury it. But I don't want to single out anyone too much, but I think Garnacho's been in real poor form and probably benefited from the fact that there is no right winger. Anthony's just worse. It was probably a transitional season for Garnacho, where he should have been like the first option off the bench. He's great off the bench. He injects energy and tempo. I'm not sure he's got the well-rounded game or decision-making yet to be the constant threat. He should have been our threat on the counter, but his decision-making and ball retention were poor. And that's not to say Marcus's was much better. You know, Marcus probably had opportunities as well. People thinking every single shot should go in. It's not the case. If that was the case, City beat us 27-1, or whatever it was today. Not every shot goes in. But when you starve the chances, you're hoping people can be a little bit clinical. And you know, Marcus had a couple of opportunities where first half didn't get his touch right. You know, and then the one where McTominay sort of nods it on for him, didn't look like he had his feet ready for it. Unlucky, because if he reacts the same way he reacted for the first one, United are 2-0 up. I think it'd be unrealistic to think he could have scored both of those, but you know, he could have got one of those. And if we do that, I think at 2-0, you might have a chance at that. I didn't get too giddy at 1-0. At 1-0, I was kind of like, okay, it's a great start. Can we get another though? And just sit back and soak it up, and then try and hit them on a counter again, because we were creating chances in the first half, and then that just ceased. And in the second half, you know, it turns out we had no shots, but wow. Anyway, yeah, that's supposed to be a Garnacho point. I guess it was a bit of a wider point in the end. Right then, folks, our pals at Surfshark are on board to bring you this video, and they're here to be bringing your online safety too. Surfshark is like your VIP pass to the internet, encrypting all your data so nobody can mess with it. Plus, they even make it look like you're chilling from a different part of the world altogether. Here's why I think you'll love Surfshark. You can unblock, block websites, and dodge those pesky geo restrictions. If you want to binge something that is on BBC iPlayer or Netflix when you're across the pond, Surfshark's got you covered. There's also 3,200 servers in 100 different countries, so you can catch sports streams from anywhere in the world. And while you're streaming, the Clean Web feature kicks in to keep those annoying ads and malware at bay, giving you a worry-free viewing experience. One account covers all your devices, whether it's a phone, whether it's a laptop, whatever, you name it, it does it. Stay secure online using using Surfshark. The code Howson, Howson, gives you an extra 3 months free at surfshark.deals/Howson, or scan the QR code on screen. The link is down below, and remember, they have got your back with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just give it a whirl. You've got nothing to lose. Positives, Mayu, again, I actually can't believe just how good he is. He's so composed, he's so calm. He can play in any role he's required to in midfield, and he's surrounded by an absolute unstable shit show of poor performers at the moment, and he still looks like he's doing well. You know, one of the only things about United that was has me looking forward to the future is Mayu. He is a future captain of this club, I think, and I think a lot of people agree with me on that. I thought Varane and Evans were pretty solid. Shout out to both of those two. Varane's been really, really good for weeks, but you know you can see him creaking a little bit, and he doesn't feel like there's a lot left in his tank. Needs like a week off or something. Rashford obviously got a phenomenal goal, but again his performance wasn't quite there. Bruno's performance wasn't quite there. It was just we probably needed 2 more players to step up and have really good, strong performances, and we just didn't. 4, we ran out of ideas. There wasn't a million ways that you can play against that Manchester City side, in all honesty, and we lacked the depth, as you saw with who we brought off the bench, really, or even arguably what we started with. But there just wasn't enough depth of ideas. I mean, Anthony coming on for Rashford just meant we didn't have any transitional threat after that. Sounds like Marcus picked up some sort of a knock. Amrabat comes on, miscontrols, a bit of a shit pass from Casemiro. You get punished. Amrabat's been a huge disappointment because I had such good hopes for what he was going to do. Howson comes on again ahead of Ahmad. I don't know about that. Like Howson, he looked off the pace against Fulham. He looked miles. How's he coming on and not running around like a lunatic when he comes on in this game? He's going to have to pull something out in his next performance because he don't look like he's anywhere near it. The difference in the 2 benches was just ridiculous, wasn't it? When you see what City were bringing on. Even though in the first half we competed and I think we rocked them and I think we had them worried, the second half was so one-sided and completely devoid of belief. I mean, as soon as City got one, which United did really well to hold out for almost an hour or so, but as soon as City got one, there was an inevitability about that they would go on and get another. And by that time, United had lost our threat of being able to go out and score one. And then finally, what does this mean for Ten Hag? So last night I spoke to Joe about it, and I said I think he knows his future. I think the talk came out that he had a 3-4-5 hour meeting with Ineos. So if that's the case, I don't think you have that 3-4-5 hour meeting without them discussing his future. And if they've discussed his future and then gone on for a meeting that's that sort of length, I get the feeling that he's probably been told he will get at least another year. And Joe made a really good point in the review that I did where he said his style of play probably does suit a sort of thread United would likely go down. So this isn't when we went from Sir Alex to Moyes, from Moyes to Louis, from Louis to Jose, from Jose to Oli, where we've lurched from left to right with different sort of styles of play and philosophies. Ten Hag's philosophies, when you look at what he stands for and what he tries to build and the way he wants to play and the way his Ajax team played, a lot of those boxes would be the sort of boxes that you would tick for what would be your dream Manchester United manager, and probably what your director of football would be looking for in a new manager. So when you say, okay, this is what we want to be, this is what we have, it's going to take a long time for us to impart all of the sort of impacts that you see, this new front of office, the Dan Ashworth, the Jason Wilcox, like all of that's going to take time to filter through to the first team. So Why not keep the ship as steady as possible at the moment? Because I don't think Ten Hag's the massive drama in why we're playing. I think he can improve on certain things, but I don't think it's like, oh my God, get rid of him and put literally anybody in and we'll be fine. I absolutely don't think that'll be the case. I think that's insane if you believe that. I think he's got some things that he's made mistakes on, but there's some things he's done well with. And I think with the changes that are happening at the club, give him the keys for at least one more year. And I hope that's what they sat down and said to him. They said, look, this shit show's not on you, but there is a responsibility that you begin to turn this around. Now, we will do what we can to get you what you need in the summer, and we expect you to play along these lines. And they're probably a massive overlap of the lines that Ten Hag already plays and then the lines that the club are asking for with this new sort of director of football and sort of direction that they're going in. So that being the case, you're still in charge for next year. The shit show's not on you. Show some improvement and the job is yours. Otherwise, if you don't, then you'll be out the fucking door. And I think that would be entirely fair and a fair way to treat Erik Ten Hag, and also a fair way to deal with the sort of handover of the club. Because as all these directors come in, what you don't want is the absolute chaos of, right, we're all in. Right, fuck him off. Right, who's in? This guy. Oh shit, he's not good enough. Fuck him off. Because then you're struggling with your recruitment. You're going to have players that have lurched from one manager to another manager. You've got a relatively steady ship with Erik Ten Hag in there at the moment. Not perfect, but it's a relatively steady ship. Work on the other shit. And then come back to this. Obviously, it's something that you want to organise and sort out and ensure it's the correct thing. But you risk even more destabilisation if you flip this right now. Let's work on, do the targets Erik Ten Hag wants align with what the vision is from the front office, from the sporting director, technical directors, all of those from Brailsford to everyone. Do they all align on this is the sort of style of play that we want going forward, and we think this would be the style of play? And does the manager agree largely with them? Because you can't just give him someone he's just got no fucking hope of or no desire to play. So I think he knows. I think he knows his future, and I think he gets that extra year. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.